I want to talk about the hoax thing. I got to do this because I talked about the Paris attack, and I talked about, Black Lives Matter movement, learning from ISIS, having something to learn from ISIS. And a lot of people came back to me and they said, ISIS that was a hoax, that wasn't real. And you keep hearing this thing called a hoax coming up. That everything that's happening nowadays is a hoax, all of a sudden. It makes me ask this question. What has not been a hoax for the fact that ISIS is a hoax? For the fact that ISIS is a hoax is anything significant in and of themselves. I asked those people, tell me what happened in America or overseas that was not a hoax, or that they could validate or prove themselves that actually occurred in the way that they believe it occurred, and they was not there, and they're listening to the media and the news, whether independent media or mainstream, to find the facts out and find out what happened. What can they prove was not a hoax? How much of what they believe about reality, of what's going on in the world, the news, the travesties, the tragedies, how much of it, any of it, can they prove that is not a hoax? And the answer to that starts to become, I don't know, because the way I see that it's a hoax is through stuff that's coming out from the same media that told me that it happened. So I'm using the footage and the pictures, and I'm using the same media to find out that it was a hoax from the hoax. So now, is it a hoax that it was a hoax? Because just like they can put the media out to make it to create a hoax, and then you go to the same media outlet that made the hoax to tell you that it's a hoax, and now you believe somehow that it's a hoax, not realizing that is it a hoax that it's a hoax. And then all of it that you have to believe in and believe their spin on it, and you have to accept what is presented to you by media, and you were not there. Your perception of everything that has occurred has been doctored by somebody else. It's been doctored by some other people with an agenda. Everything that you see in that media, they do work to doctor it and put it before you. So, your whole reality that is a byproduct of their media is a hoax, period. If everything you think is based upon what you believe that somebody has told you through the media, then your whole perception is based on a hoax. And if that it was a hoax, still affected your reality and affected the reality of those amongst you, what does it matter if it was a hoax or not, if it affected you and those around you in a real way? Then that makes you begin to ask a deeper question of what is even reality to begin with? What is real? What is reality? Because your reality is how you are affected or how you experience something that is perceived to be outside of you. That's what reality is for you. So if you can watch these news, all this news and media, and hear about all this crime and see the stuff that's happening, the police killings, the murders, the bombings, the ISIS, the terrorism, if you can really watch all of that and be affected by that in a real way, then even if it is a hoax, it is still a part of your reality because you are affected in a real way by what you experience and see that is going on. And the world around you is affected by that media, by that mainstream. And when you deal with people, you are dealing with their reality. You can't talk to somebody outside of what their reality is. And if their reality is the hoax, then that hoax is reality. I'm going in today. Follow me. A hoax has become our reality. The Matrix is a hoax, is a lie, is false, is doctored, is spent, is dramatized, given to you with an agenda. All of it is a hoax. Every product that you have ever bought. Everything that your enemy has put in front of you has been related and a part of some hoax. You still believe in it. And what you believe in is your reality. And what you are affected by via those of whom you are associated with, what they believe in also becomes your reality. What you consider a hoax is irrelevant to the fact of how something is a part of or is your reality. I hope I'm not going over nobody's head with this. So it's either all hoax or all reality. I asked somebody this. I said, if you watch a movie, and a lot of us saw Minister Society, Boys of the Hood, a lot of movies we saw. Do you think your body knows the difference from a movie and a documentary? If you're watching a movie and you see murders and violence, and you see somebody break up, and you only been watching a movie for an hour and 30 minutes, and then somebody breaks up in the movie, you're crying all over the goddamn popcorn. You're whimpering in the movie theater. Your body, your emotions, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a movie and a documentary or what's even going on in the world. So whatever you are experiencing before your eyes is affecting you in a real way. Thus, even though it is a hoax, even though it is a movie, it's still your reality. Do you hear where I'm going with this? It's really you're really sitting up there in the movie theater crying. You're really sitting up there in the movie hyperventilating. You look over at your mate and you're ashamed that they see you crying in the movie theater. You're so embarrassed because you can't even stop yourself from crying. And you know the movie is fake. It's still your reality. You're crying. Hurt. This life is your life is a movie. Experience in the movie has been here. And those affected by it and those who believe have their reality there, who live there. When you have somebody, let me give you an example, and their child is shot down in the streets, murdered in cold blood, Trayvon Martin. And somebody comes along and says, we're going to pay you money. And the fact that they're going to give you money to pay you for murdering your child, they're going to let you sue because they want to change how you act. They want to affect how you act. And if they affect how you act, and the way they affect how you act got you acting differently, then you are an actor. So a lot of people that you see are actors because it's dictated and be determined how they're going to act or react to a given situation by the person that's creating the ultimate movie, that the end theme, the main theme of the movie, and how it's supposed to end is white supremacy. So these people that edited this movie, the producers, have predetermined how you're supposed to act and have the ability to make you act that way. So those people are actors. And you never see what goes on when these shootings happen. You might not be there. You're looking at somebody's phone plus the newscaster, what they're saying. You're hearing somebody else's telling you what happened. Their reenactment. So what you think is reality is a reenactment of something. A movie. Nothing of it that you have ever got dished to you by them has ever been reality. It has been your reality. But it's never been what really happened. And since it was not what really happened in totality, it has only been a hoax, something that has been utilized to make you experience things in a way that do not represent what they really were. A hoax. 99% of the reality that has been dictated to you has been a hoax. And the very thing that we're calling our reality, that is the Matrix, is a hoax. Something put over on us by somebody else to get a reaction out of us, to turn us into actors or reactors in their movie that will supposedly end up in white supremacy. People that come along like me, interrupters, where we intervene and intercept their inceptions, and we redirect the dramas, the narratives, the stories in a way that will work towards our ending of the movie and not for the benefit of white supremacy. So it doesn't matter whether it's real or unreal, it's how it works for us, how it empowers us, how we respond to it, how we create from it, how we turn their garbage into fuel for the reality that we want to create. Because that's all it really is. Either we're going to be victims of it and react to it, or we'll take from it and create, redirect, reinforce our own realities, create our own reality as gods. That's all we can do. So whether you think it's a hoax or not really doesn't matter. It's somebody's reality. And if you want to affect people, you can only affect them by dealing with what their reality is. Doesn't matter what happened. It matters how they react to what appears to have happened to them. That's deep. So I had to go in and I had to touch on the hoax. So this whole thing about things being a hoax and not real and all that, none of that shit is real and never been real. But it has become our reality because we've been affected by it, we believe in it, and those who among us are affected by it. And so we deal with it in a way to make the energy of the hoax that they created to work for us. And that's what you call, to me, divine propaganda. We talk about Marcus Garvey, but we don't talk about the power of propaganda. Marcus Garvey talked about how powerful propaganda is. And we ultimately got to use their propaganda, which is everything that they're propagating to us, period. As soon as they get it, it becomes their propaganda. Because they're propagating something, white supremacy, all the time. So we must take what they propagate to us and turn it into our own propaganda. Hitler studied Marcus Garvey. People don't realize that. See, when we hear Marcus Garvey, we think of cliché stuff like black unity, Pan-Africanism, let's come together, the red, black, and green flag. We're very cliché-ish and shallow. We don't want to get into the science of Garveyism, which was the effective utilization of propaganda. That's a whole nother radio show, though. Everything they got for you is a hoax. Everything. Nothing they show you is real by the time they get it and show it to you. Nothing. It's never what it is and never has been what it has been. and it's been utilized as a tool to keep us in imprisonment and in what Phil Valentine says so eloquently, light code lockdown. That's the whole purpose of everything they have put in front of your face, is to keep you in fucking light code lockdown. All of it is a hoax. But how will you use the energy of what it is to take from it, to redirect the energy of it and create your own reality? That's going to become the real question. I'm going to open up the line.